Well, what's going on, guys? It is your boy, Deshaun Daquan Devante, coming to you live with episode 4 of the podcast. As many of you may know, I'm currently a mathematics major at the University of Toronto. One of my favorite things to do with the subject area that is math is, in fact, the numbers. One of my favorite things is just getting to have many puzzles involving all of my favorite numbers. Since this is episode 4, this is going to be brought to you by the number 4. A little bit of a backstory. If someone were to come up to you and present you with an array of objects, just all the all the objects are the same, and they were to ask you to say how many of the objects there were. Now, if there were 1, 2, 3, or 4 objects, your brain would instantly know that there was that many objects. The second you get to number 5, your brain starts guessing. Anything more than 4, and all hope is gone. The reason this is, as far as my knowledge, I'm going to cite this book entitled Here's Looking at Euclid. If you want to check my facts or read more, I highly suggest this book. And what it says is that there's 2 different parts of your brain that are doing each of these processes. So 1 through 4 is one of them, and then 5 onwards is a different part. And I guess it's kind of like counting versus estimating, whereas your mind can count to 4 really quickly, but once it has to go higher, it just loses all hope. The particular application that has caught interest for me is music. If any of you guys know anything about music, you'll know that pretty much every single pop song on the radio is in 4/4 time, which means that all the music is counted as 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you ever listen to a conductor bringing the band, you know that he's doing that. He's waving the stick in 4 counts. When the singer's singing on stage, she's counting to 4. And I think that's really interesting that it just naturally happened that way, because if you ever hear a song in 5, like the classic Take 5 by Brubeck, you'll just be perplexed. You can listen to it pretty easily, but the second you try and think about what's happening, is your brain, well, I guess what your brain does is it splits it into 3 and 2, because 5 is far too big to handle. I told one of my friends this, and his response to the whole music being in 4 is that 4 is also easily divided. So you can divide 4, you can split that into a 2, you can split those into 1s, you can split those into a half. Whereas if you have 3, you get 1.5, and that's iffy. So the powers of 2 are very, very good things in terms of music, because you can always fold things into halves, whereas trying to fold things into thirds is usually a little bit more tricky. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. I'd like to give a shout out to all my fellow university students. If you're listening to this within like a week of it was posted, may the force be with you. Best of luck in your examinations. Hope your essays went well. If you're listening to this a little bit later, I totally understand. I'm surprised I even made this. I've been Devin Runyons, and you've been fantastic.